You always hear that the free market is the ideal, right? So, why do governments get so involved in the economy? Let's break it down. It's a fantastic question. I mean, if the market is supposed to be free, why does it feel like there are always new rules and regulations? Well, the best way to think about it is to picture the entire economy as this massive, high-stakes game. And you know what every good game needs? A referee. So let's really lean into this analogy. The government isn't just another player on the field. Nope. It's the referee, the one who's there to make sure the game is actually played fairly. Think about it. Just like in any sport, the referee's main job is to be a neutral party. They're there to blow the whistle when there's a foul, to protect the players from getting hurt, and to make sure the final score reflects skill and strategy, not just who is best at cheating. Okay, so why is this referee so essential? What would actually happen if you just let everyone play this incredibly complex game with no one in charge of the rules? Well, you can probably guess. Things would get chaotic and fast. The biggest, most aggressive players could start throwing their weight around, dominating the game, not because they're better, but just because there's no one to stop them from breaking the rules. And that leads to some very serious problems. Without that oversight, you're looking at some pretty gnarly consequences. You get the exploitation of workers. You open the door for widespread corruption. And eventually, you can get the kind of instability that causes the entire market to crash. The government as referee is there to try and prevent all of that. So what does this rule book actually look like in practice? Well, they step in to control monopolies, which makes sure there's fair competition. They create rules to safeguard workers' rights. They ensure the products we all buy are actually safe. And of course, they set standards to protect our shared environment. These are the basic rules of the game.
All right, so if the government is the ref, what kind of tools do they actually have? What does their playbook look like for managing this enormous, complicated game?
The number one tool is what we call economic regulation. This is the official rule book. It's the whole set of laws and policies that businesses have to follow. And it's all designed to prevent what economists call market failures. Basically, that's when the free market, if you just leave it alone, doesn't deliver the best results for society.
Now, within that playbook, there are two major levers the referee can pull. On one side, you've got fiscal policy. You can think of this as the government using its own wallet, spending money on big projects or changing tax rates to get the economy going. On the other side is monetary policy. This is usually handled by a central bank, and their main tool is tweaking interest rates to keep inflation in check and make sure the economy doesn't get too hot or too cold.
Okay, that's the theory. But let's bring this down to earth. How does this refereeing actually look in the real world? For that, we can look at a fantastic example, Indonesia's booming digital economy.
In Indonesia, you see these specific referees for different parts of the game. In the banking world, you have the OJK, the Financial Services Authority, and its job is to make sure everything's transparent and consumers are protected. Then in telecom, you have Kominfo, the Ministry of Communication, working to promote fair competition so that the whole digital sector can grow. It's a perfect real-world example of setting clear rules for a healthy market.
And the toolkit isn't just about business regulations. There are also social programs. By investing in things like education, healthcare, and housing, governments can help reduce inequality. And this isn't just about being nice. A healthier, better educated population makes for a way more productive and stable economy for everybody.
So all of this, it brings us to the central challenge, the real heart of the issue. It's the ultimate balancing act. It's not just about having rules. It's about finding that perfect sweet spot.
And here is the absolute key takeaway. This is all a balancing act. It's not some simple choice between total government control on one hand and a total free-for-all on the other. An economy's success really hinges on finding that just right mix of freedom for businesses to innovate and grow and the right regulations to keep the game fair and stable for everyone. And you can see what happens when you get that balance wrong, right? You get two extremes. If you have way too much control, the referee is just overbearing, tying everyone up in red tape and crushing innovation. But if you have too little control, with no ref on the field, the game just turns into chaos where the biggest players can bulldoze everyone else. So when you put it all together, this is the goal. A game that is stable, where the rules are fair to everyone, but also where the players still have the freedom to be creative and try new things. And, it's not a balance you find once and then you're done. It's a constant debate, a constant adjustment that governments are always making.
Which, of course, leaves us with the big question. In a world that's changing so fast, with new technology and global challenges, what does that perfect balance even look like today? How much refereeing is just right? That, my friends, is the multi-trillion-dollar question that pretty much everyone is trying to answer.